What's up, everybody? How's it going? And welcome to season 9 of Car Rant. It's been quite a long journey to get here, and there is a lot that's going to happen this season. I'm very excited to share all of it with you. But I figured I'd share with you something that's been going on a little bit behind the scenes, or if you've been following our social media, you will have seen this, because we have been fighting with the DMV over our Metropolitan. Just a quick plug for our merch stores. Please check them out to help support the channel. Your support helps keep stuff like our Metropolitan, which is actually in front of me, alive. And we've got these limited edition Brokest jet tags that go with, of course, the hoodie and our slap sticker. So do us a favor, help support us, check out our stuff, and let's get into this little story. To start off this whole story, we have to go back to the beginning when we first picked up this Metropolitan. We got it for about 900 bucks. Pretty cheap. Didn't run, but my mechanical know-how and some experience with the GY6 project, I figured, you know what, I'll try and tackle this. I'll try and give this a shot and see if I can figure out how to make it work, register it, and have something that's fun, cheap to ride and drive, and very easy to maintain. All said and done, handed the guy the money, and we were good to go. He handed me a piece of paper that said vehicle price certification. Now, normally that's something that a dealer uses, not something that a person uses. And with this not having any form of registration or a title, it's kind of an odd thing for him to give me that, but it's all I had. So just said, all right, screw it, let's go for it and see if we can make this work. I didn't have any sort of certification saying that I was the owner of this other than this piece of paper. Without any previous registration, there's really no way to prove my ownership other than the fact that I physically possess the key for it and the vehicle and this piece of paper. It is what it is, but that's where it stood. Now, we picked up this Metropolitan in August, which is, yeah, to the tail end of the season, but with it not being registered, it wasn't running, and also being a barn find, there were things that needed to be fixed on it, so riding it immediately wasn't exactly the goal. It was to make sure it ran first before we tried to ride it. And so that led us into the journey of modifying this Metropolitan. But in the whole background, we were trying to also get it to the DMV to register it, because these don't have to pass any sort of safety inspection. They don't require insurance to drive. In fact, you don't even need a license to drive one of these things. So realistically, we just had to go register it and then we'd be set. Nothing else would need to be done. So when 3 to 4 months later, again, got it in August, they wouldn't let me register it when I renewed my license in August. I had to wait until December to try to register this. That's when they handed me the VSA 12 and said, go get this filled out, notarized, and then come back with this paper so you can finally get it registered. Not the best news you've ever heard, because again, already it's December, it's well past the season for these things, technically, and it's cold, it's bitter. I had to wait outside 45 minutes, even though I had an appointment at 10 a.m. I had to wait until almost 11 to get in, only to be then told, after them not looking at any of the paperwork I had, which on the paperwork says, to get a title, this is what this is for. They still threw me out the door, said, here's the 12, go figure it out. We'll see you in a few months. They never once tried to give me a follow-up appointment. They just chucked me on the street and said, go get it done and come back when you can come back. Not a happy customer at all. I was frustrated, irritated, because I've waited months for this, only to be more or less verbally pimp slapped, thrown out back onto the street where I had already waited well over the time allotment for my trip to be there, and then be told that I need to get this thing notarized. And it gets worse. My next appointment would be for February. Now, why is it worse, you say? Well, they told me this when I filled in the stuff online, but I never got a confirmation notice. So I was waiting for that confirmation notice to be emailed, only to be then told after the appointment happened that my appointment was for that previous day. In fact, it wasn't the previous day, it was 5 days later that they finally got in touch with me and said, oh yeah, you missed your appointment. Well, what good does it do me now? To continue to make matters worse, I had the wrong paperwork. Yeah, the DMV that threw me out on the curb then gave me VSA 12, which, what's wrong with that? It's a affidavit in lieu of title that's notarized by someone from the county. Well, it's an affidavit for a car. See, mopeds aren't registered as a normal vehicle. In fact, they get their own little plate that says moped on it. It's only about 6 letters long, and they're just really not seen as anything else other than a moped. No insurance requirements, no odometer readings, none of that. So when I filled out my paperwork, I had to do all those extra steps, only to be told that I needed VSA 12M. Yeah, my next appointment that I finally got here in April, they sent me the wrong paperwork. So I have been sitting on this paperwork for 5 months, stewing, frustrated because there were nice days where I could have taken this out, taken my dog for a nice little roll to a dog park somewhere when I lived in Leesburg, and just enjoyed the thing as it is. But no, I'm now in April, and then I'm told that I had the wrong paperwork given to me by the DMV itself. You gotta feel the emotional frustration behind all that. I've waited months, since August, just to register it so that when it was working, I could just take it for a ride and not have to worry about it. But instead, I've had to wait and be told I was wrong and to be treated horribly by the DMV just to be then told that I had the wrong stuff by the other DMV. Yes, I'm at a different branch when I go to do this. After all of this struggle to try and get this stuff figured out, when I went to this DMV this last time, they told me that I needed the VSA 12M and VSA 31, which is a moped certification paper. Basically, it's a piece of paper that says this is in fact a moped, 49 cc's, will be operated on the roads with other cars. Cars need to watch out for it, etc. And instead of just chucking me on the street corner, the lady that was at the DMV this time, this different branch entirely, because I didn't want to go back to where I was, finally actually stood up and was like, you know what, I'm gonna help you out, and got me a shoe-in for Monday following. My appointment was on a Friday, right before Cars and Cigars, and this time I got in the following Monday. I was able to go see my friend who's a notary, get all my stuff notarized, filled out perfectly. I go to the DMV on that Monday, and after months of struggle, of venting, angrily frustrated, understanding why people go postal over government bodies, I finally got my title and plates. And it's a whole lot of fun, actually. Driving on the road is pretty funny because one mirror, right? I haven't got the other one plugged in yet. In fact, I don't even know what happened to this mirror. It might be just gone for all I care, but I'm gonna have to cut this rubber handle off. That way I can actually get in there and do what I did to make that one work. But so much fun on the road. Very, very quick, but definitely tops out early, just because again we don't have the NCY attached right now. I think the last one shorted out, so I've got it. It's hiding in my bucket, right, with my ghetto radio and everything else. But yeah, just so ecstatic to finally be able to ride this on major roads. This lady went above and beyond to help me get myself situated because she felt for me. She understood. And in fact, when I came back in on that Monday, the guy that was working with me also got it. Recognizing the fact that it's not a car. It doesn't need all of this extra stuff. When I showed up, I had 6 pieces of paper because I kept every single thing I had been given by the DMV, so that when I would show up, I had everything, because that's how emotionally abused I felt from this company. Just to register something that doesn't even get taxed. So with all that said, what are your horror stories from the DMV? Let me know down in that comment section, because dealing with this over a vehicle that literally is not insured or anything like that was just absolutely nightmarish. I know Ian's had some of his own problems with the DMV, so I would love to hear more of your stories down in that comment section. Make this thing into a Reddit post, for God's sake. Let's have some fun in the conversations down there. And as always, check out our stuff to help support us so we can continue to afford things. And God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.